It's easy to drive on to Westminster's campus and see this impressive institution. What may not be as easy to recognize is that the school is not even 70 years old yet. There's this roll up your sleeves type of commitment to service above self, this commitment to excellence, a contempt for complacency. Just never being satisfied. You know, good isn't good enough when I can do better. That's the story. You know, that's the dream. That's, as a small business person, that's what I'm pursuing. There's a grit and a resourcefulness that comes out of that I think is just in the DNA of the institution. I am the beneficiary of that. No question I couldn't be the person that I am today without Westminster.
When I applied for the Rhodes and Marshall scholarships, I was asked the question, what was more important in your life, your education at Westminster or your education at Harvard? And I said, Westminster, hands down. The ability to understand that what I like to do is to persuade people, to tell stories, to rally people together as part of a team in part of a common cause, really started for me in 7th and 8th grade at Westminster. I was able to perform at the highest level with some of the best talent and the best instruction in any high school in the country. I was able to go to a place like Kellett Theater and participate in musicals and straight plays and one-act plays, which honed my ability to stand and deliver. What I do today is get up in front of a large crowd of nearly 600 employees and try to motivate them to change the lives of everyone who uses Ibotta every day. We get people writing in saying, listen, the money I make on Ibotta, $1,000 a year, is the difference between providing Christmas for my kids and there being no Christmas. It's the difference between paying off my loans and not. And we're part of a team that feels very much like an ensemble cast, like would have felt at Westminster. Just being around a place that celebrated that, but was always building toward the future, changed my life.
Having tasted at Westminster what a deep, thoughtful, rigorous, excellent education is, gave me real clarity around wanting to make sure that all kids would have access to a similar kind of education. When we look at a community like Memphis, all the problems, all the challenges, all the issues that face it, education might be the tool for addressing all of those. One of my favorite investments has been in an organization called New Leaders that develops principal leadership. I've been able to watch as a new generation of principals have come into Memphis, have turned around low-performing schools, have had a huge impact. And I think about Gwen Cleghorn and the extraordinary experience of learning to love to learn. Teachers who pushed hard to help teach us the ability to communicate effectively, to think rigorously, and be inspired by their dedication. And it continues to feel like a moral justice issue, really, to make sure that all kids, no matter their economic circumstances, have access to the same kind of education I was privileged to have at Westminster.
I'm exceptionally grateful for the gift of my Westminster education. I think it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever received, besides that I was born to my mother, who she is. When I went to Westminster, the reason I was in that classroom was because of the financial aid. And the slight pivot in where I was going turned into ripples that completely changed my life. In 2017, I was awarded the Keegan Traveling Fellowship. I decided to study fatherhood and how it's impacting people. And so I visited 22 countries. And after coming back to the US, I began my Teach for America Fellowship with Banneker High School. Being a teacher, you're a leader every single day. So when I came into the classroom and I had the opportunity to be that Black male teacher and be in front of a student who also grew up without their dad, and also be in front of that student who grew up in this zip code like I did, Westminster really showed me that warm atmosphere that welcomes people in and encourages them to say, no matter what I do, I'm here for you every day. You're here, I'm here, let's do this thing.
Westminster put the seeds out for everybody to reflect on, how do I fit in my community? How do I make it the place I want to live? You look at the people that were in our class, everyone drank the Kool-Aid. How do I step out? And once they left, went through college and came back, they all stepped out into different wonderful things. You were being given gifts that a lot of people weren't. How could you share that with the people that didn't have that access and make their lives better? Watching the patients who are impacted in such a positive way during a horrible time in their life succeed and leave here with a smile on their face, even if they're on wheels. That's success. We look at the impact of Shepherd Center, and it's impacted every state in this country and 64 foreign countries. Westminster lays a great groundwork that if you can get along and mold people and motivate people, you can succeed in any platform.
I'm shaped at Westminster so that I can become someone who changes my own little corner of the world. You don't take the opportunities and just take. You give of yourself. You become a servant. One of the ways that Camp Evergreen is impacting people is that we're making this experience available to everybody. Children and families who come through our gates from local counties who otherwise could not afford to come to camp experience being outdoors, focused time with other people, gaining friendships. And we're able to create that opportunity for every child that is hopefully life-changing for them.
That sense of obligation to create opportunity for others, because it was created for me, started at Westminster. My family needed financial aid in order for me to attend. Knowing that somebody else's generosity impacted me, I think very early on at Westminster, I learned the notion of giving back. To whom much is given, much is expected. Great enduring institutions have a really clear compass. They stay true to some core pillars. Great faculty, great leadership, great students. And at the same time, they are adept at evolving. They adapt to technology, changing needs. Westminster has done that really well.
One of the most outstanding things that Westminster does now is give people experiences outside the classroom. Jan term, the experiential dimension to the Westminster education, the incorporation of entrepreneurship and technology, applied learning. What Westminster is doing to prepare the next generation of kids perfectly maps to the skills that we need people to have in the workforce. I think Westminster is an example for so many people outside of Atlanta that people don't even realize how much of an inspiration it is, and it actually affects the lives of children who don't even go to Westminster.
It's beautiful to see the school living up to its mission, living up to its values, living up to its principles. That same passion for excellence, that same passion for learning, the diversity of thinking, diversity of attitude is absolutely amazing. You know, it continues.